Howdy, howdy. So this has been kind of a treat for me in a lot of ways. Alright, number one, this video is without prejudice and without recourse. And I am absolutely not waiving any of my rights whatsoever. Okay? I'm not an attorney, so whatever I say or do in between these videos, it's just my opinions and my opinions only. If you need an attorney, well, then you may need to find one and help you out. Because I am not giving legal advice. This is basically an observation, maybe a learning, and kind of put the word out all at once. Alright? This poor girl is just going through all kinds of problems through the, well, in generally the fake courts. Alright. So, props to American Amy for following up with this and going to the courtroom, and her actually going into the courts to watch the court, and a couple other things happen between here and there. Lady Justice, thanks for backing up Amy, and Amy backing up Lady Justice. And I am glad that you guys out there. There's a couple of other people out there. Don't know who they are. If you watch a video, you'll kind of hear the names and all that. But right now, I just didn't catch it. Now, if you wanted some more interviews with her on YouTube, is Push No More and Free to Protect. They got some other videos that was recorded, and one of the guys happened to be on here, I believe. And he was there when they came and took her daughter from the house. And her YouTube channel was pretty much private, so I probably could have got by with it because she wants the word out. And this Pushed and No More, Freedom to Protect, this is what she does. She tries to help family out, whether you're a man or a woman, that fighting these corrupt courts, attorneys, and generally just all in all family court system and everybody involved, attorney, judges, mayors. This goes deep. It's all contract, kind of like the 4D is contract into the state, into federal law, and everybody's got to have a little piece of the pie. And it's hard to get rid of something when everybody's making money.
You will step up, and I called Sean McMillan. I called him and put a call in. I've tried him several times over the past few days, and I did get through finally to his assistant. He was on a conference call.
So help the viewers understand. This is a civil proceeding. You say arraignment on charges. What do you mean by that?
That's the thing, is that we have, there are real neglect and abuse situations in our country, and we have a criminal justice system for that.
Now, the guy in the beard that just walked by just a second ago, now he was there filming it when they came and got her kid, and why she is saying goodbye to her kid and all that. The officer was literally basically telling everybody, hurry up. He's rolling his hands around saying, okay, time's up, let's go, let's go, let's go. That officer's a piece of junk. How dare you be that disgraceful and that disrespectful, you piece of... that irritated me. Alright. Before we proceed forward on any of this, well, let's go ahead and go.
That's how we should be handling and addressing these things. And unfortunately, we've allowed this system to exist that is civil. It's kangaroo court, and there is no law behind it. They're doing whatever they want. As you see, no one's allowed in once it gets to TPR, which should be the most transparent point of the process. Truly, we need accountability, we need transparency, we need auditing. We need to be better. We need to change the
charge your peers, right, in this
There's
case?
no jury of your peers at all.
Noticed when the hearing was supposed to be public and noticed that DCF lawyers went in there and for some reason used to get that case.
Let's try that. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. Always something.
Not allowing your supporters or the public to see what's going on.
Yeah, and then manipulated, if we're involved in my father manipulates it into that they're scared and, oh, there's something, dangerous here, there's something whatnot. No, if you're doing what's right, then you don't have fear about that kind of stuff. I've had to walk into this with all my dad's buddies and all of this kind of thing, and I have to walk in there like getting it, it's incredible. So I just, it is what it is at this point.
So you
And
feel
it's
like
whether
part of the
we want to do something as the people about it or not, if we're okay with this or not.
I'm sorry, did you feel like part of the process went on without you even being in there? Because we could see through the doors, they were in there talking without
They
you.
can have their secret meetings, they can, they put the white noise on, they do all of this, and they can do that, and they're all.
Okay, these secret meetings they're talking about, right? Now, this is what you call a private court. And generally, her attorney actually recused herself. Okay, so she went in there without attorney. But generally, when they had these private courts, they can actually be at midnight. And they do that quite often. Especially in California. Now, go to YouTube, Susan Bassey. Alright? She fights this corrupt system also in California. And they do a lot of this midnight courts. And that's why, because it's away from the public. Now, I had to be honest. I am totally surprised they didn't do this at midnight. Alright? I think they didn't really do this due to being really a high case. But she was just like a normal individual, and it was really being challenged a whole lot. This may have went into especially when you're rich, if you got money. This would go into midnight, and the two lawyers would get together, and they would do plea deals with one another, and find out which direction they are going to be against. For some of y'all, and I know this is going to be a long video, y'all. For y'all to understand this in a lot of ways. Alright. Easy way of putting this is kind of like a 4D contract. All family courts is a 4D contract. CPS is a little bit different, but it still involves contracts. Okay, CPS is not a government entity. Well, okay. Argument's sake, we'll just go with y'all's terms, right? It's not a government entity. It is a private corporation. Alright? But the contract is federal law, and the states pick up the contract to agree to the federal laws and terms of agreement, plus the state gets to create their own little side deals with the contract. Now the counties are, especially in Texas, I don't know about Florida itself, but counties actually enter the contract too. Some of the ones here in Texas can opt out. Okay, so check with your counties in Texas if you want to check your DA and do a FOIA request of the contract. Speaking of which, Lady Justice, if you see this, try to get a FOIA request on the contracts that CPS has got with the Florida and this courts. Alright? Find out what kind of contract the courts has got with the federal government on these CPS deals. Okay? 4D, it's easy to do. You could just basically do the same thing well, you know how to do FOIA request. But the best way for everybody to understand this really is to do a FOIA request on these contracts that these counties and states are agreeing to with the federal government. And the reason why is the federal government funding. So they're going to be, and especially with the 4D program, when you get an attorney, y'all, in the 4D contract, federal government specifically says that the attorneys are not working for the benefit of the kid. If you are married and you're getting a divorce, if both of y'all have an attorney, both of y'all's attorneys are not working for you. They pretend it, but in generally they are working for the courts to work for the state that works for the federal government. And the 4D contract is to get as much money as they possibly can. In most cases, they actually say fathers. But, we also know that in some cases there's mothers. But in generally, it specifically says to try to get as much money from the fathers. Okay? So they can go up to 90% of the father's paycheck. And that's the reason why fathers are living at home and can't afford bologna sandwiches and to pay the child support. And the reason why, y'all, is because this contract of the 4D program, there is no law saying that you had to pay child support. And I might challenge this, ladies, and I apologize if I insult you in any sort of way or fashion, but you have zero rights on this. And vice versa, dads, if you're the dad of the house and want to go after the moms, you literally have zero rights. This is all contract law. Everybody's confused on this. So spread the word, Amy. Read the 4D before marriage. Read it while you're married. And if you get a divorce, read it after. Especially if you have little ones. Okay? But back to the child support. And I'm sorry about that. I dread this out because this is really all tied into one corrupt corporation entity. Okay? This is all tied in together. And the family courts are corrupt. And they are private. That's the reason why you technically do not have a right to a jury. Because it is civil. It is contract. So everything is based on consent and tacit agreement. So when they say, well, I want to come in and see your kid. Well, come on in. Well, you just agreed to their terms automatically. You signed a contract under tacit agreement because they didn't tell you it was a contract, but you entered a contract with them. Alright? Now you're going to fill that paperwork in later in the future. Quit filling out paperwork, y'all. Quit going by their demands. When that judge gives an order, a judge cannot order you to sign a contract. Family law is all contract law. And the judge has no authority to sign and force you to sign anything. They can't do it. Alright, I apologize.
Together, they all take oaths to the same, entity, and, it's really wild. They're all working.
And you were locked outside for that part of the proceeding, right?
Yeah, they're going in and all talking, and, she's saying that there's irreconcilable differences, and,
Let's stop there. See, they're already making agreements with her out being not in there, and since you don't have an attorney, they're making claims. Okay? And she cannot represent herself because they kicked her out of the courtroom, even though it's against her. What they are doing is claiming it's for the benefit of the child. No. What they actually call this, technically, is the benefit of interest. The states have interest in this case for her not to have her child. Everything is done by interest. It's the state's interest to keep the child, to get federal funding. Okay? That's all it is. It's interest. The states have interest, and as long as they have that kid in their grasp, then they are benefiting from it, with everybody's misery and sorrows. So some of y'all may say, well, we need them. No, we don't. We need to get rid of all this, revamp, and get everything back within the guidelines of the Constitution.
You know, I don't know, guys, it's a mess, and people need to research, and people need to wake up, and
Sorry.
really, you know, if people aren't realizing through this, then I don't know what it will take.
Yep, we need to wake up. So what's the next step? Court on Friday?
Court on Friday, 10 a.m. here at the Vero Beach Indian River County Courthouse. It's an arraignment and pre-trial for the termination of my parental rights, which we should never even be discussing these things in America.
And I'm not being mean about this, all right? But they already determined that because they already had a meeting without her in there. All right? They had a private court hearing. And she was not allowed to be in there. Now, everybody thinks I'm full of crap on this. All right? Except the people that's really been in there and really studied it and really understand that this is all civil contract interests on the state's behalf or the county's behalf. And in some cases, the mayor's been caught in getting funding in all this. All right? And if I'm not mistaken, I think Odessa, one of Odessa's mayor, was caught getting funding on this. I may be wrong. I can't remember the exact town, but I believe it was Odessa, Texas. And this was, oh man, a few years ago. Sorry, proceed forward.
They're not even mentioning reunification at all.
They told, well, everyone that's involved in this kind of system and being victimized by it knows that, you know, they tell you, oh, we're doing the case plan, and we're doing the case plan, and you're doing great, and they keep adding things and different stuff, which we have seen in this, but I have spoken up about that. I've been very vocal in grace and truth, you know, that we've been doing everything on the case plan. I even just told the judge that we have a half of an evaluation that's parental, and they never came to do a home study on Wednesday because they knew that they were planning to take my baby, and they had all of this a day later, you know, and they could have easily, peacefully come in, seen the home study, saw that I had a baby, addressed that under their law of having a baby and combining it with the other case, and say, you know what, we see the truth here, we are working, and let's get this done with.
Right.
You know, let's get these children back.
Right.
That's all we've ever asked
The
for.
best interest of the children, and you and everybody that's here mean no harm to no one. We just want the truth out there, correct?
Yeah.
You want your babies back.
Yeah,
and you want your babies
the truth
back.
This is not just about Megan Welch
No.
and John Walsh.
It's about DCF.
This is about CPS and DCF in our country, stealing our children. And no one in there is going to intimidate me or make me feel like I am wrong about that. We all see it. We all know. That's gaslighting. That is part of abuse if we're expected to ignore.
Okay, I'm going to stop there for a second, y'all. And again, I'm not an attorney, so you guys do whatever you want to do. But if I was in this particular interment, what I would do is go ahead, bypass the municipal courts, magistrate courts, and all that, the family courts. You're not going to get justice there. You need to make a claim. And you need to go not after CPS, but after the woman or the man that came into your house and was there in that process of taking what you guys call children. Now, I don't call them children. All right? Their sons and daughters are their offsprings. You know, I gave them inheritance of my DNA to pass on to future legacies. Okay? We're using these incorrect legalese words, and it's trickery. And some of you guys are going to disagree, and and that's fine. Disagree. But trickery words still exist. That's the reason why when you read the laws, it's hard to understand, because they make the law so broad. And I bet you 10 to 1 you can read that law and you think you understand it, but do you understand every single definition they are using? People, don't look it up. Definition, quickly. Children. Quickly, people. Look, say out loud to yourself right now. Definition, kids. Goats. Kids are a goat. Now, why would I call my sons and daughters a kid? Why would I call them a goat? Alright? So, this is stretched out too long. I'm going to make a part 2. These are We the People News. Bye.